Every day, volunteers help organizations achieve their mission, whether delivering meals, providing pro bono consulting, mentoring youth, and so much more. While organizational leaders usually recognize that volunteers provide valuable support and services, many still make decisions based on misconceptions about volunteer engagement, based on widely held myths. You, however, are in a unique position to address these misconceptions so volunteer talents can be more effectively harnessed towards mission fulfillment. To help you embrace your role as Mythbuster, I'm happy to share our top 5 myths that we see across North America, along with tactics to help you bust them. I'm Beth Steinhorn, president of VQ Volunteer Strategies, and welcome to Mythbusting 101. 5 days, 5 myths, 5 ways to become a volunteer engagement mythbuster. Today, we're starting with myth number 5 of our countdown. What is it? That success is measured in hours and dollars. For decades, the industry standard for communicating the value of volunteer involvement has been tracking the number of hours that volunteers contribute to an organization and then translating those hours into a perceived dollar value based on national or local values ascribed to each hour. While this approach can be useful in certain scenarios, like reporting in kind contributions on grant reports, it can be quite limiting and, in fact, even problematic. The issue is this: hours and dollars measure only quantity, not quality. They give no indication of the impacts volunteers have, such as people served, meals delivered, animals saved, or legislation passed. As my colleague Dr. Sue Carter Kale has written, and I quote, wage replacement rates favor quantity over quality and activity over accomplishments. This can lead organizations to manage to volunteer data and events rather than mission. In other words, we focus on how to increase volunteer numbers rather than how we can advance the mission with volunteers. Unquote. I'll add that volunteers don't serve because they want to reach a quota of hours. They volunteer to make a difference for causes they care about. Tracking hours tells nothing about whether they've succeeded in making that difference. So, what can you do? Consider what your organization does value. What information will reveal how volunteers extend your organization's reach? Increase the services delivered, like meals served, trees planted, pounds of food collected. What about the changes in behavior and condition that you all seek to achieve through your work with clients, like increases in reading level among those tutored, or improved health among those who receive volunteer led trainings on managing chronic conditions? Ultimately, telling these stories of increased capacity is not only more appealing, but also so much more meaningful. There are a wonderful set of tools and emerging sets of tools that our field is developing, like Volunteer Canada's Value of Volunteering Wheel, or the Balanced Scorecard is featured in the book Measuring the Impact of Volunteers, Balanced and Strategic Approach, among others you can reference to help you tell these stories. Ultimately, though, it comes down to asking this: what brings you closer to mission fulfillment, and how do volunteers help drive that? Collect those data points, tell those stories, celebrate them, and in doing so, you will bust the myth that success is measured in hours and dollars. Tune in tomorrow when we tackle myth number 4.